Good morning, everybody. All right. So we have 6 people in here right now, 5 people. All righty. So this is going to be the last class for the rest of the year. We're finishing on a perfect date on the 12th class of the Ignites. So for everybody who is in the mentorship program, if you've done all 12 of the classes, please reach out to Kristen, let her know that you've finished the classes. Also, I'm going to be sending her my attendance records today in her email. So if there's a little bit of a discrepancy, I'm sure you can talk with her about that if I accidentally didn't mark you down for one. How's everybody doing this morning?
Morning, Jared. How's it going?
Not all at once. Hey, buddy. How are you, Derek? What's good?
Just living the dream as usual.
Living the dream. I love it. I love it. Well, while we wait, what happened? No, I just wanted to save. Okay. While we wait for everybody to kind of pour in, I'm going to get my stuff ready. Typically, people kind of trickle in a little bit after because we have another class that goes before this. So let's start. We'll start doing our daily 10-4 at 11:10. So now's a good time if you want to grab a drink, if you want to grab something to snack on, that would be good. Today's class, I'm going to try to be a little bit more conversational, trying to apply everything that we've learned over the past 12 classes. Again, if you have, for example, started these classes in the middle of the courses, that's fine. But we'll kind of have a culmination of everything that we learned throughout all the classes and see how we can apply it to our businesses. So go grab something to eat. Actually, I'll start at 11:11 and we'll go from there.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for your, sorry, appreciate your patience.
It's okay.
For everybody who's on in the chat box, I'm going to be putting in today's material. Oh, we are down to only 3 people. That sucks. We'll see who gets in. Let's see. And yeah. So Cindy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I had a nice hike this morning.
Oh, good for you.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have a very small class today for the last one.
I'm gonna be driving soon, so I'm not gonna be able to participate nearly as much as I normally do, like by the reading and all that stuff. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm paying attention to you through my phone.
So real quick, Cindy, what were your numbers for the last since Monday?
It's been 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Nice.
Mhm.
Group in action. So 5, 3, perfect. And you've been joining us since the 3rd class, it looks like. Perfect.
Yeah.
And Diana Munoz, I'm not sure if I have you on this, do I? You there, Diana?
Oh yeah, sorry. Today's my first one.
Hey, welcome. This will be a good one.
Thank you.
So Diana, what we're doing right now is so in these classes, we talk a lot about how to get business, how to get clients, and what are the activities that we're supposed to be doing to, get clients and get appointments and get leads and put it into our funnel, we call it. The more leads we get, the more appointments we get, the more appointments we get, the more contracts we get, the more contracts we get, the more listings and agreements, and eventually close, and then eventually we make a lot of money. So what we're doing right now is I'm asking the people, usually there's a lot more people on today, but for example, we'll have per day how many contacts we're trying to make, trying to have a two-way conversation about real estate with somebody either in our sphere of influence. It could be cold calling. It could be, when the pandemic is over, it could be door knocking. It could be people that we talk to at an open house. It could just be people that we talk to at the grocery store. But as long as we mention real estate, we're having that two-way conversation with them. And then ideally, we're going to be adding them into some form of a database. At Keller Williams, we use Command and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to share on my screen our daily attendance, and also our how we kind of track how much we're making those calls. So as you notice on the screen, it says per day, per week. These are our goals. So for the per day, typically we want to do at least 10 contacts a day. But how many, since you just started, are you a new agent, or are you coming from another office, or what's your story?
I'm licensed, but I haven't started practicing yet. I'm hoping to join the team next year, but everything is still in the works. So my mentor suggested sitting in this class and the previous one too.
Awesome. Very cool. And how long have you been licensed for?
2 years, but I haven't taken that leap of faith to do this full time.
Cool. No worries. So this will, kind of teach you like really what we all do as full-time agents, and how we create our own business, how we create our own streams of income. And these classes are really, really beneficial for that. So how many contacts can you commit yourself to making each day, whether it's friends, family, relatives, strangers on the street, people at the grocery store, whatever's clever?
Right now, I don't really go out much because of the pandemic, but I would say at least 5.
5. Cool. And listen, that could be on Instagram. It could be Facebook. It could be emails. Whatever it might be, it might look different for everyone. I do a thing called cold calling, where I'll call an entire neighborhood and I'll just go, "Hi, my name's Jared Medlinski. I'm with Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. I just want to introduce myself. Listen, and I ask how their day's going. Like, oh yeah. What's the call about? Listen, I had a listing over in Bel Air, over in London Flora Drive. We had 200, clients who came in, to view the property. Only one ended up getting it. So clearly we have a lot of people who are interested in properties in the neighborhood. Do you or anybody know, living in the neighborhood, interested in selling, buying, or investing in commercial real estate?" And then we're just having a two-way conversation, and that's just with strangers that I just call randomly on the phone. But that's one form of my lead generation, especially now during COVID. Diana, I used to do a lot of stuff like door knocking, for example. I think that when you have a face-to-face conversation with people, it's much more effective. But for example, because of COVID, I've pivoted and I'm mainly focusing on my cold calling, reaching out to my friends and family, and doing stuff like that. But very good. So 5, I'll put that down as 35. I think it does out of 5. So I'm going to change that. So hopefully you'll have 35 contacts per week when you're doing these activities. So very good. Awesome. I'll give you credit for today's class. And let's see, Fatima, I know you're an experienced agent,
Yes.
but thank you for joining.
Hi, thank you.
How about you? How many contacts did you make? I think the last time I saw you was a week ago.
So my goal is to do 40 a day, and I've done a little bit over each day. So you're saying from last Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
So I've made 301 contacts.
Woo. And how many of those were there conversations two-way, do you think?
Probably 100.
Nice. And Fatima, for example, for maybe Diana or anybody else who's, I don't think there's many more people on the call, but what's your system? Is it friends, family? Is it cold calling? What do you do?
So I've already kind of talked to everybody like that I know, friends and family wise, but now I'm going off of like people on my LinkedIn connections because I feel like it's a really good source of people who are already established who could afford to buy or sell. So that's a really good tool to utilize.
Absolutely. And you know, for some reason, doing business to business transactions, it just seems so much easier rather than calling somebody when they're at their house, you know, something like that. They're kind of like in a business mode when they're on LinkedIn. So very cool. Love it. All righty. So let's dive right into it. I'm going to share a new screen real quick.
Jared, I had a quick question.
I have a quick answer. What's up?
What are you telling people when they're telling, because I was on the phone with someone yesterday and they have like a lot of property and they were planning on selling one of their properties, like they have a big portfolio. So I was connecting with them. They were on vacation. I left them alone during vacation. So now we touched base yesterday. And now because of the shutdown again, they're like, we're going to hold off because we're getting new renters and some people are not paying because of the pandemic. And we want to like possibly do this maybe like in 6 months or whatnot. So how do you do it without losing momentum and not like, I don't want to say, because you don't want to come across like desperate either,
Right.
but yet I'm going through his assistant. And the thing is, I'm not talking to him directly. So that way I could get a stronger feel through him.
Right.
And his assistant is someone that I know personally.
Gotcha. So let me ask you a couple questions about what you were just saying there. You have somebody, are you trying to get rental listings or selling their properties?
Sell.
Gotcha.
And if I hear of like an investment, like for example, like your Beller house, I would want to introduce them to that as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So are they trying to buy properties or are they trying to sell current rental properties?
They wanted to sell one property and it was a rental, or it is a rental, I should say, sorry. But they don't want to do that right now because he's trying to hold on to everything that he has that is producing income.
Okay. So that property particular is producing income for him.
Correct.
Gotcha. Now, he mentioned something about, oh, I don't want to sell right now because people aren't paying rent. Explain that to me a little bit further if you could.
From what I understand, from what I was told, that some people are pulling that they can't pay rent due to COVID. So he wants to hold on to whatever he does have that is producing some type of income. I don't know how, from what I understand, this person seems very well off.
Okay.
So I don't think them not paying rent is the issue.
So,
I just think he's just trying to, keep his profit growing, his net worth growing.
So what was his reasons behind wanting to sell? What I'm trying to get at is for a lot of people who are like,
I wasn't able to touch that yet. Because when I was gonna touch that, they ended up going on vacation. And again, I'm going through the assistant. I'm not going through him directly because I know the assistant.
So this is what I would recommend. Try to get a little bit more information on it. Because there's a couple of things that could be going on. There could be a plus side and then there could be a negative side. So the plus side that I would focus on is if he owns a bunch of different rental properties and he's concerned about them performing and making money, now seems to be the most opportune time for him to sell. And I'll tell you why. The reasons are one, because of that exact concern, there's a potential that my renters will stop paying the rent, right? So that's why it's a great time to sell. The current renters might be paying right now, but if they don't renew their lease, there's a gamble that he may end up getting a renter that does not want to pay.
Well, from what I understand, with the new people that he moved in there, they put it in their lease that they're not going to put in that, they're not going to play that pandemic card on him.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't
Make a difference, I know.
Yeah,
But-
they can still get around that, frankly. But yeah, no, I that's good though. So okay, that's fine. The point that I would probably try to make is saying, you know, I understand your concerns, and I understand that this is something that you had mentioned. I would argue that because you have good renters in the property, towards the end of their lease, before renewal, seems like a good time for you to likely sell. And that might be why he's saying 6 months from now. And try to get a little more information on that. And then if he does say that, yeah, you know, my renters, you know, that I just got in there, you know, they are paying their lease, they're blah, 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 blah. Great, whatever. Right now, we're at record highs for pretty much all real estate. I mean, it is sellers are getting a killing right now on all their properties. So I would probably try to get a little more information on what his motivation is. If it's that, you know, I want to sell these rental properties because I'm concerned about people not paying, then that's something that I would kind of focus on. If he's saying, yeah, if he's then saying, oh, I'm not too concerned about that because I have people who are paying my rent, you're like, well, great. When is a good time to really, you know, revisit this conversation about selling your properties? And what is your motivation for selling your properties?
So I should ask the assistant when would be a good time to revisit you for the previous conversation that we had yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
I should send her a text today or tomorrow. I just don't, I felt like she was brushing me off real fast. And then she started telling me like, oh yeah, I'm working very little right now. I'm not going to be possibly working with him any longer, blah, 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 blah. But again, it's the assistant that I'm speaking with, not him.
Well, if she might
not the owner.
If she might not be working with him very much longer, now's a great time to get a lot of information out of her. Bug. Who cares? And
Okay.
you know what? And try to come from a place of contribution. I know that would be weird if you're talking to the assistant, like, how are you going to contribute to her?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. But just like, you know, listen, I understand that you might not be working with him for very much longer. And you know, that's, you know, another conversation. Maybe we should go grab some coffee and talk about that. But, you know, I'd really like to try to help him out. And the more information that I can get about his situation, the better. And possibly, you know, it might help you, you know, retain your client or retain your position. So try to like make it seem like you're trying to help her out look good, or I don't know, whatever, something like that. But try to get as much info out of her as you can.
If I can't get my mentor on the call with her, would you be willing to talk to her? If I say, hey, my mentor wants to speak with my partner, wants to talk to you real quick. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Or
do you have a mentor currently?
I do. And I love her. She's sweet. I just don't, I'm trying, you know, you learn as you go.
Right.
But when I hit these hurdles, that's when I get stumped with words, because I'm like, okay, well, I just normally like let it go, but I don't want to let this go because I know that this dude has like a huge portfolio.
Right. Do you know the dude personally?
No, I don't.
Okay. How did you get in touch with him? Do you just know the assistant?
Exactly.
Are you friends with her, or are you just?
She used to work with me at the salon.
Oh, well, dude, no, come on. This is easy. Invite her on a hike. Be like, hey, do you want to go hiking?
I haven't seen her in like a year.
So
And
what?
okay, I can do that, you know, but I don't think she's gonna fall for it. I'm not gonna
She'll fall for it. Believe me, people are bored. I've reached out to people that I haven't talked to in years during this pandemic just to be like, hey, you know, it's been a long time. I know I haven't talked to you in a long time, but, you know, I think this seemed like a better time than ever with everything that's going on. I just wanted to circle back with old friends, family, whatever, and just reach out and, you know, just say, hi, how you doing? And see what's new. You know, I think we all got really, really busy with our lives before this pandemic happened. And if there's one good thing that has come out of this, is that we now have the ability to kind of sit back, reflect on the things that matter to us. And you know, my friendships really do matter. My connections.
Okay. So if she goes on a hike with me, then I'm good. If she doesn't, then I'm gonna say, okay, my mentor my partner wanted me to touch base with you on something. When can I have a call? I'm gonna go one way or the other.
I like it. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cheers. Cheers. 100%. Okay. So good stuff. Are there any other questions or like, concerns people have about, real estate in general? If you're new, stuff like that. Awesome. Okay, so let's get right into it. So we just did our, for everybody who's new on the call, we just did what's called our daily 10-4. So for example, Diana, when we did the roll call and just to see how many conversations we've been having, that's part of our daily 10-4. Cindy, do you remember what our daily 10-4 is? Maybe you can help jog my memory.
Calls.
Perfect. Okay, so that's
Is
one of them. So there's four pillars of our daily 10-4.
Emails, social media.
So that can kind of go into calls. So
Okay.
I'll help you
I'll
out there.
shut up
So no worries. Please, no, please. I like when you contribute. So we want to make 10 contacts a week, actually 10 contacts per day. So that's 10 two-way communications. We want to add 10 people into our database, whether that is a Google spreadsheet or Command or which is our software from Keller Williams, or it might be, I don't know, Lion Desk, which is another CRM system, but we want to be putting them into a database where we can easily access them, look at notes that we write about them, and contact them. So that's 10 calls or contacts a day, 10 inputs into our CRM. We also want to do 10 notes to the people that we contacted previously. For example, let's say I'm on a call with somebody and I'm going, hey, we're talking about real estate. All of a sudden the conversation changes to football. We're talking about football for a little bit. Hey, blah, blah, blah. I love football. I used to play in high school, blah, 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 blah. Like, do you have any kids? Oh yeah, I found out that they have kids. I'm writing down notes while I'm having this conversation with this person. They like football. They like kids. They like whatever. So then after I'm done with that phone call, the next day, I'm going to go ahead and take out my stationery, write a little note. Hey, John Doe or Jane Doe, it was a pleasure speaking with you the other day. I really enjoyed our conversation about the Rams or the Chargers. My fantasy football team is totally losing this year, but oh well, that's 2020 for you. Listen, I know that we had to get off the phone really quickly, but if you have any questions or concerns regarding real estate, I hope you can look out to me as a resource. Once again, thank you so much for the conversation. Put it in an envelope, seal it, throw it out in the mail, and boom, they get it, a couple days later. So that's our 10 notes. And then finally, so it's 10 contacts, 10 people in our CRM, 10 notes. It could be emails as well, could be text messages. Then we're going to finally do 10 properties per week. We want to look at and preview 10 properties per week. Now, it used to be that every single Tuesday we would have what's called broker caravan, and we'd have the ability to go out and physically go to all the different properties in person and kind of preview the properties before anybody else gets to see them. So before the public gets to see them and see the open houses on Saturday and Sunday and all that fun stuff, we get to go see them on Tuesdays. There are a couple areas where they do Thursdays, I believe. I think that's in the Valley. Excuse me. But let's focus on Tuesdays. And we get to preview them. Now, unfortunately, we don't have that ability because of COVID. We can't do brokers opens. So what I would recommend is going on the MLS. So for example, for Diana, if you're not used to going on the MLS, this is a good opportunity to get comfortable with it. We're going to search, properties in our neighborhood of choice, probably an area that we want to focus on with our business. For me, it's Bel Air. That's where I like to focus on. For others, it might be Beverly Hills. For others, it might be the Valley. It could be, Lancaster for all that matters, or Santa Clarita. But whatever that area for you is, you want to kind of take a look at what's happening in the market, see what prices, homes went for sale, see what's in escrow, see what's closed, and just get a good general idea. And we want to do 10 of those a week. So our daily 10-4 is 10 contacts, 10 people in our CRM, 10 notes, and then finally preview 10 properties per week. The first 3 are per day. The last one, previewing property, is per week. So that's what we just kind of did partial of that with our daily reporting. And that's the most important thing, is having contacts. So moving forward into the bulk of the material, your turn, lead to generate for business. I am sharing my screen right now on page 8. Also, if you look in the chat box, I included a link to this material so we could all follow along. I'm going to put it in again if you just joined. And away we go. So this, obviously, if we were in person and not on Zoom, I'd probably ask everybody to get in little groups and go ahead and start cold calling. Obviously, if everybody's on Zoom and everybody's on the phone, it's going to be a nightmare with everybody talking over each other. So we're not going to do that in this class. But for everybody who's just joining, or for the people who are, veterans in the industry, let's start with page 9. So get your head in the game. Congratulations, you've arrived at the final power session. Throughout Ignite, you've been performing the daily 10-4 activities, tracking your numbers in My Tracker or Command. You've time blocked your daily activities and are working towards your goals with the help of your Market Center. You have learned the mindset, attitude, and approach to life matter. Adopting a mindset of philosophy and contributing to lives and other people, and a deeply rooted belief in doing the best job possible for each and every customer will enable you to grow your business. So I had mentioned in the beginning of the class, I believe to Diana, that it all focuses on leads. Why do I focus so much about the daily 10-4? It's because that is going to create a lead creating machine. If you're making 10 contacts a day with friends, family, strangers, whatever it might be, you're going to end up having 10 people that you can put into your CRM or your database that you can consistently follow up with them. You're going to have, now that you have those 10 people in your database, you're going to be able to write those notes out to them very, very easy and efficiently. You should have their email address or text message. You'll have prompts set up once you get into Command and get used to that. And so you can send those out. And then all of a sudden, you're going to get all these leads in this big funnel that we're pictograph that we're looking at right now. We get leads, and leads turn into appointments. Appointments turn into agreements. Agreements turn into contracts, and then close payday. And we like making a lot of money. Payday is awesome. Okay, so before we get deeper into this, we're going to go ahead and watch a video. Excuse me. I've been running a lot, and I quit smoking cigarettes, so I'm getting all this gunk out of my lungs, which is great. So excuse me if I'm coughing. Okay, so let's look at this video real quick. Take some notes if you want. We'll have a little bit of a discussion after the video. Hopefully we're all going to be available to discuss. Let's get after it. Let me just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Boom. And here we go.
Hi, I'm Linda McKissick, and I'm going to talk to you about an ideal day in the life of a mega agent. First thing in the morning, I have to start with getting up and getting my head right. What I've discovered is if I get my head there, my body will show up. So that typically means getting up in the morning, always exercising, getting the blood flowing. And second, reading something either spiritual or motivational, or listening to an audio tape. Jim Rohn happens to be my favorite, so he's always in one of my CD players somewhere so that I can plug him in easily. And just listening to people that are inspirational, because I think all of us need hope every day to go do what we have to do. As we get to the office, the most important thing is, because every business is a lead generation business, is what does that lead generation look like? For me, because I'm at the 7th level, one of the most important things is, what key people do I need to talk with that day? And that always pops up first. Do they have what they need to succeed? And then the next thing is, who are the people we need to be doing business with? How have I communicated with them lately? What do I need to do now? Is it a phone call today? Is it a drip campaign? Is it an invitation to something? Looking for, how do I communicate with those people that we want to do business with? And how do I keep furthering that relationship and moving it along? I've discovered my business energy is highest earliest in the morning, earliest in the day, and earliest in the week. So I front load my week, Monday being the most difficult day with all the contacts and all the lead generation that I need to do early in the morning. And that frees me up to have the afternoon to kind of just work on plans or projects. Typically what I find is through the week, Monday and Tuesday are heavier, and Wednesday, and by Thursday and Friday, it's pretty more entrepreneurial of just off the cuff. And then the evening on Mondays or through the week is, it's always about family, because the reason we do what we do is so that we can build a great life and build great memories with our family. So our kids are very important to us. We're very involved. It's what are we going to do as a family? What do we need to do as a family? When's dinner? Where are we going to go? Or what are we going to eat? And that kind of rejuvenates me. One of my philosophies is the purpose of business is to fund life. And to me, life is all about family. And as a mega agent, your day might look different, but the key things we have to always remember is certain parts of our day have to look the same. So you might want to think about, where's my head? How can I get my head in the right place? And then we always want to remember that every business has to be lead generating. So what does your lead generation look like? Is it earliest in the morning? Is it earliest in the day? And then we always have to know that somewhere in the day we have to spend that quality time with family, because we don't want to win at business to lose at family. Thanks for watching KW Connect, and make it a great day.
Awesome. I love that video. It is a little corny, a little cheesy, but I like it. Why do I like this video so much? Let's see, who's on this call? Derek, how important do you find having a schedule helps you kind of get through your tasks? Now, Derek, just for everybody who's not on, who's on the call, and was like, who's Derek? I don't know him from the office. He's an aspiring agent. He's getting his license soon, but he has run very successful businesses in other realms of business. He runs a tequila distribution and all that kind of stuff. So, Derek, how important is keeping a schedule, keeping a daily log of what you're supposed to do, how to do it, and all that kind of fun stuff?
Well, actually, a number of other parts of my life is I've been involved in sales, in financial technology, finance, and that sort of thing for well longer than I probably rather mention. And absolutely imperative to have a schedule every day. What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing this month? To keep yourself both on track and accountable for that. Otherwise, there's a million other things that will come up during the day, and you'll be sidetracked, and you won't get accomplished what you're trying to get accomplished.
100%. What I like, what the lady on the and thank you for sharing, bud. What I really like what the lady was saying. Get your mind right. First thing you do when you wake up, you should have a routine. Routines build rituals, and rituals, that you have for yourself every single morning should be very, very similar, especially during the work days. You have weekends to have fun, that's okay. Weekends, you're maybe going to be doing showings after like 12 o'clock or something like that. But other than that, your weekends is your time to have like a little bit of loosey-goosey kind of creative time. And the truth of the matter is a lot of people gravitate towards real estate because they're like, oh, it's going to be so easy. I could make my own schedule. I can go do whatever I want to do. I could sleep in. That's not true. If I would argue that real estate is in fact a very, very difficult business, because it is a business of self-discipline. I'm going to share with you just briefly kind of what my daily week would look like. For example, every single morning I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. 6:30 in the morning, I get my workout clothes on. I hit the door. I'm out the door by maybe 7 a.m. I put my clothes ahead of time, so I can just roll out of bed, throw on my running shorts, throw on like a shirt. Maybe I need a jacket or something if it's really cold out. And I'm on the trail, and I usually do Temescal Canyon by 7, maybe 7:30. And that is done every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, on the days between that, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm doing resistance, like either weights or resistance bands or something like that. So it's not just cardiovascular; it is more, targeted towards like muscular stuff or whatever. But that also gets my head right, my blood kind of pumping a little bit, I argue that exercise is it's the cure-all for almost everything. It's an ADD pill, ADHD pill. It's an antidepressant. It just clears the cobwebs out of your head. You're sleepy. It wakes you up. It's your morning coffee. I promise you, if you do a mile run, just a mile run every single morning, you won't even need coffee anymore. It'll just invigorate you that much more. So my 6:30 looks like Monday. I'm going on a hike. I'm hitting Temescal Canyon and the Palisades. Tuesday, I'm waking up. I'm just rolling out of bed, and I have resistance bands that I just attach to my door, and I'm doing that kind of thing. Wednesday, I'm back on the trail again. I'm doing like a 3-mile hike. Thursdays, I'm doing my resistance band. It's like legs day or whatever. Fridays, I'm back on the trail again, and I'm getting out there and I'm doing my thing. Now, every single after that, by 9 o'clock, I should be back at my house, ready to run my meetings. Now, on Mondays and Wednesdays, obviously, I'm here, not on here, but I'm doing the power sessions with Josh, which, for example, Diana, if you're new, I highly recommend checking out the power sessions with Josh Spitzen. He's the CEO of the Beverly Hills office. Diana, are you in the Beverly Hills office?
Hopefully we'll be signing on January, but nothing's official yet. I guess I'm like Derek, I'm aspiring as well.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. I highly recommend trying, and for Derek too, trying to get into the 9 a.m. power sessions if you can. They are very inspirational. It just kind of gets your head straight, mind right. It's a lot of we go over a lot of stuff like, philosophers, business, great business minds. Like we just talked about Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine today in the class, and what they kind of, their business philosophies and stuff. And it's a really great, kind of mindset, kind of rah kind of thing. I love them. They're great. They help me kind of stay on track and what's important. And so Monday and Wednesday, that's what I'm doing. Now, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m., that's when I'm usually waking up. And if I'm in escrow, I'm reading my emails to make sure the escrow is going well. I'm doing an audit on all my files to make sure we have all the signatures that we need for all my documents or whatever. I am then, planning on a call to reach out to my clients. If I'm in escrow, I don't need to call them right away at 9 a.m. because usually they're at work. So I'll plan on calling them at around 12 o'clock. But I'll make a note that if I need to contact them, that's what I'm going to do. Then from about 9 a.m. to about, I'd say 10 o'clock, that's when it changes a little bit. So every Monday to Wednesday, I'm teaching these classes from 10 to, around 1-ish. Sometimes I like to end it a little bit earlier if possible, especially that we're doing Zoom. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, that's when I am just strictly, getting out there and lead generating. Now, whatever that might look like, it might be different for everybody, but I am sending DMs on my Instagram. I am reaching out to people via text message. I'm checking in with my current buyers to see, how they're doing. Have they seen the properties that I sent them? Is there anything that they want me to set up? I'm just kind of touching base and all that kind of stuff. From 10 to 11, that's when I typically would do my cold calling. So 10 to 11, that's cold calling. Oopsies, just writing that down. That's when I'm doing a lot of my cold calling. I'm circle prospecting a neighborhood that I've always been, either door knocking. I put that in place of my door knocking to do a cold call sessions. And then from that point on, for the rest of my day, that's my entrepreneurial side. I have, free time that I can do meetings. I can go out to properties that I'm representing. I can, fill out some, paperwork that I need for, specific stuff. I'm signing people up on, listing agreements, on lease agreements, on buyer agreements or whatever. That's where I'm doing my admin work. And I'm also, frankly, if I have time, and frankly, this is something that I'm trying to implement myself in my own business, is to do a marketing, 2 days out of the week, I want to focus on marketing. So that might be, I don't know, maybe a Tuesday, Thursday thing that I'm going to implement at some point in there. I don't have it yet, but I'm going to end up writing it down. So the point is having a very detailed structure for your business is what's going to drive you to success in this bit, like 100% bar none. So even though we get into real estate because we're like, oh, it's going to be easy, it's going to be awesome, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, being proactive, being a hunter rather than, a gatherer or a trapper, and so to speak, in this business, you're going to build so much more business and much, much quicker than you would imagine. Does anybody remember the analogy that I made with hunting versus trapping as far as when it goes to lead generation? Does anybody remember that? I think I mentioned it a few classes ago. No worries, I got you. So in real estate, you can do one or two things. You can either try to buy your business, which, you can buy leads from like Zillow, no caller ID. Sorry, y'all, give me 1 second. I just want to see who this is. Hello, this is Jared. Hey, Karen, could you give me a call in like an hour or two? I'm just literally in the middle of a meeting. This is my cell phone. Is this in regards to Santa Clarita Road? Okay, you have a private number. Could you give me your number so I can call you back? It's okay. Okay, thank you so much, Karen. Okay, bye. That was an important call. That's the appraiser. Okay, so hunting versus trapping.
Hey, Jared, could you send a link to that that other power meeting that you were talking about, or drop it in the chat maybe?
Which one, for hunting versus trapping?
The one you said for that Josh was doing. No, or earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the link.
All right.
Yeah, give me a second. Hold on.
Or send it to me later, whatever.
I think, do the links say the same? I don't know. Maybe they do. But here, I just sent the link for the power session. They're at 9 a.m. Anyway, so I just put that in the chat. So the difference between what I call hunting versus trapping is, you could trap, your leads. You can set up a nice, beautiful little trap where, potential buyers and sellers walk in and they go, oh, great. I saw this, great, spread of food, and I want to get into real estate. What's up? And they walk right into your trap. That could be stuff like Zillow leads. That could be sending out, Facebook, Instagram posts, trying to get people to click on your ad and go like, yeah, I'm interested in buying or something like that. The interesting thing is all of that type of lead generation costs money. So if you're new to the business, remember that if you think you're going to do a bunch of like Facebook ads and a bunch of, mailers, or a bunch of, what else, leaving gifts on people's doors or whatever to get you to call back or whatever. Maybe printing out, custom face masks that you're handing out to people that have your phone number on it. That's what I would call trapping. You're trying to get somebody to call based off of a product, information, something or whatever that you're giving out to people as an incentive to give you a call. All of that costs money. If you, for example, go out to, your local title rep and you ask for, a batch of numbers, you might have to pay for the numbers up front, but it's a one-time cost. It's much cheaper. Going after your friends and family, it's free. You can just pick up the phone and start dialing. That's hunting for your business. And that's the way I like to look at it. And I always say that when you're new, you kind of want to hunt for it. You don't want to just kind of rely on, paying for stuff or whatever. You want to be proactively reaching out to people constantly, whether it be friends, family, people you pass at the grocery store, whatever. I know that might be a little bit difficult during COVID, but we want to be proactively going after business. So I highly recommend that. Let's see, where were we? So let's move on past this key stuff. Let's go to your turn, pearls of wisdom. This is not really indicative with Zoom, but so let's have this. With that said, I'm going to ask everybody to kind of chime in. In your mission, we were tasked to seek, let me just make sure I'm sharing the right page. Zoom is fun like that. Okay. So on the screen right now, I have page 11. And on the page, it says, your turn, pearls of wisdom. In your mission, you are tasked to with seeking out 5 different people and asking them 2 questions. Write your top 3 answers who gave you each answer below. Be prepared to share with the class. What is your advice on getting into an effective production as quickly as possible? So if I could have Derek, give us some advice on how you think you could be as productive as possible now that you're getting into real estate. What are some things that you could think of?
As far as what now? I'm sorry.
getting productive in real estate. What are some
Getting
activities
productive?
that you could do to get productive?
Effective production, just I would say the easiest thing or just kind of thing is always be think of your time as as what can you be doing as revenue producing type of thing.
Sure.
For me, that's just kind of like, what am I doing right now? Is this is this getting me somewhere? Is this revenue producing work that I'm doing, or is this just busy work type of thing?
Sure. And Fatima, what are some things that you feel are revenue producing activities?
Definitely reaching out to people daily, because eventually that's going to turn into a deal, and it will strengthen your confidence and your communication skills, and definitely practicing scripts, because in the long run, when you're doing deals, you're going to need to know the scripts to have the right answers. And the more that you do them, you'll feel more comfortable. And it's just like anything else. The more you practice something, it becomes easier. So you just need to get right in and start having a routine daily of things that you do repeatedly.
100% textbook. That was amazing. Yes, that is absolutely right. You got all 3 bullet points right in one answer. Love it. Yes. So, we got to be, being very proactive. So I couldn't have said it better myself. What is your secret to longevity and prosperity in real estate business? Cindy, what do you think if I know you might be driving, but maybe you might be able to throw in an answer. What do you think a secret?
Consistency. Be consistent with the constant calling, the constant keeping in touch with everybody, and have your funnels of communication with people, like happy birthdays, happy holidays, happy home anniversary. What else am I missing?
And what are a couple things that you can ensure that you're remaining consistent? What are some tools you have that we could use?
Command.
Boom. Command is
emails.
Command 100%. There's one more that I'm trying to think of, and I went on this long diatribe about what I do every single day. What is that called?
Your morning routine?
Sure, or time blocking. Making sure that you have it written down. You know what you should be doing every single day. When I wake up, I know I need to go on my hike. I know after my hike, I'm going to get into my meetings. After my meetings from 9 to 10, I'm doing follow-up calls and lead generation. Or I'm having specific meetings in regards to certain escrows that I might have open or whatever. I'm doing audits on my file. And then from 10 to 11, I'm really getting into my cold calling and stuff like that. I know what I have to do every single day. When I get up, it's on my calendar, it's marked, it is ready to rock and roll. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So Diana, I know that you're new, but what are some, ahas, so to speak, some, maybe light bulb moments, the little light bulb goes off, that you could, contribute, say, oh, wow, I noticed that this would probably help, or, because I think you mentioned that you've had your license for 2 years, but you're thinking about getting full-time into the business. But what are maybe some light bulb moments that you've had, since listening in to all that?
I think, well, at least for me, I have my license, but I haven't actually decided whether or not I'm going to practice. It's just something I've had sitting there, because I worked in entertainment, so my mentality was to stay within the music industry, but then touring was canceled, and then now there's no need for representing. There's Live Nation pretty much got rid of everyone. Like, this is a bad time for the industry. So now I'm in a position where it's like, okay, I think it's time to really pivot now. And how do I make the transition? But the biggest thing for me is the time blocking, I think, because and defining whether I'm going to commit to this real estate thing or if I'm going to go back to entertainment. So
Yeah.
I'm there.
It's an interesting, pivotal moment for you. It sounds like, for me, let me ask you, how's coronavirus been helping with your time blocking and even just in your day to day for your life? Forget business or whatever.
Pretty bad. I feel
Right.
like it's just hard to stay on top of or track of it's hard to do anything. Especially when one, you don't even know, what the industry is going to look like, or at least from the music perspective. Like, are we going to have live concerts again in 2021?
Yeah.
Or are we going to wait until 2022?
Yep.
But yeah, it's been difficult to
time block and
Yeah.
manage your day-to-day life. I will say 100% for me. And one of the good things about real estate, Diana, is you're not dependent on anybody else but yourself. And when things go bad in certain industries, before I was in real estate, I was a senior project manager for a very successful construction company. And when the economy turned, we had a lot of layoffs in the company. I didn't get fired, but I saw some of my colleagues getting let go. Material prices increased. Our bottom lines, totally changed. There was whole restructurings of companies at the time, and it was very nerve-wracking. And that was one of the reasons why I ended up getting into real estate, among a few others, is I didn't want my future to be dependent on external, reasons. For example, the economy changes, so there's a restructuring in the business. The coronavirus happens. We can't have live concerts, for example. These are things that could affect your business that you have no control over. But the beautiful thing about real estate is you're your own boss. Your livelihood depends on how much you want to put into it. And I would argue to say that even though it seems a little bit, daunting to have all these like time blocking and holding yourself accountable, I'm going to be honest with you. I have never really worked a day past 4 o'clock. I mean, just going to be real. And if you really think about it, all like the big bulk of work that I do for getting leads and getting stuff, it's about 3 hours every single day. Lead generation and booking appointments, and that's it. Other than that, I'm having meetings with Josh, which I think are very, very important. But I mean, it's not exactly hard work. It's a lot of, self work, I guess, talking about a lot of these different, things about business and philosophy and whatever. These definitely, count, but they're only Monday and Wednesday. And other than that, it's 3 hours of strong lead generation, and I'm out having a drink at, Wally's Beverly Hills, by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So, it's a great opportunity. It's a great job. It does give you a lot of free time, but with a little Spider-Man term I'm going to use, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, with great freedom comes great responsibility in real estate. So real estate's amazing in regards to that. But I will say this, when I got into, the beginning of this pandemic, I had a little bit of a slump, frankly. I closed a couple deals and then I went, now what? I'm used to going to the office every single day. I'm used to going to the gym constantly. I'm used to, whatever it was, all of that had changed. I wasn't able to do that. So my, daily activities completely went haywire. So I had to, take a moment and just, slow everything down, realize what I wanted. And I wanted to go on my hikes. I wanted to do this. And I had to create my own structure, my own daily activities, my own time tracking. And by doing that, this fog of like, what do I do today? Do I call this client? Like, how do I find my new this? It all of a sudden became automatic. It gave me purpose again. It gave me the ability to, have a predictable business again. And so the one great good thing about, this pandemic is it's given a lot of opportunities for us to really have like a real insight into our own businesses. and our own day-to-day happenings. So good stuff, everyone. Okay, making it happen. Anyone can succeed, but not everyone will. Why? The ones who do succeed have focus, the ability to concentrate their thoughts and actions on the most important tasks. So, how do you create a personal plan and make process your focus? How do you create a personal plan and make process your focus? Interesting. I don't know if I like how they worded that, but it works. Anybody have an input for that? You know, Josh always says enjoy the process. So I think the process is your day-to-day activities in this context. How do you create a personal plan and make process your focus? It's writing it down. You know, it's as simple as that, in my opinion. You know, making sure that you have it written down someplace that you know that you can always go back to and focus on. So how do you time block to get your focus? Well, today we actually just talked about it in Josh's power session. You should track, you know, how long tasks take you. How long does it take me to lead generate? How long does it take me to do, you know, my power sessions? How long does it take me to do certain contracts for certain, you know, aspects of the business? And then once I get an idea of how long it takes me, I can now put a, you know, definitive time block for that. That's how you basically get it done. How do you use accountability to keep your focus? Can anybody add on that? How do you use accountability to keep your focus? Not all at once. There's no wrong answers, y'all. So for me, I use, you know, the power sessions with Josh. I use teaching these Ignite classes. That keeps me very accountable. You know, right now we only have 3 people on the class because I think it's, you know, kind of close to end of year and, you know, people are getting ready for the holidays and whatnot. But, you know, usually we'll have like 10 or 12 people on these classes. And those are 10 or 12 people that I am, you know, I'm accountable for. You know, I'm accountable to them. And that helps me keep my focus. And then plus teaching these classes helps me to remember what I need to do in my own business and to make sure that I'm driving it forward. So how do you make sure your environment supports your focus? How do you make sure your environment supports your focus? Come on, somebody chime in. All right, I'm gonna start calling them.
The thing that got me to get involved with this brokerage was the fact that I saw that Josh was growing his business during this pandemic. And me personally, I like to make sure that I'm taught by people that have phenomenal consistency and excel in showing results, because the numbers don't lie.
Hell yeah. Listen, you know, and it's not all my doing either, but, you know, I would have to say, you know, going to the power sessions every Monday and Wednesday, teaching these classes, it's helped me to close open 4 escrows in the last month and close all of them. Well, one of them is still in escrow and I'm pretty sure it'll close, but I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch. But, you know, 100%, you want to surround yourself also with people who elevate you, frankly, people who you can strive to be like or better one day. I like to use the term, never be the smartest person in the room. You know, always try to surround yourself with people who you aspire to be, who you aspire to work with, who you aspire to be better than maybe one day, but you know you have some time to grow, because you're going to learn so much from those people, and it's going to constantly, you know, raise the bar for you, level by level by level. And you know, there's a thing that we go over in the power sessions with Josh constantly, and it's just about that 1% better. Let's try to get 1% better with whatever task it is that we're doing. Each time we do it, just 1% better, 1% better. And if you look at that 1% compounded over time, you're going to see exponential growth by the time, 3 years from now, 2 years from now. You're going to have, 3,000%, improvement in your own capacity and capability by also surrounding yourself by the right people.
Just like your environment matters and your location matters.
100%. Couldn't say it better myself. Thank you. How do you keep your energy to maintain your focus? Lots of coffee. No, I'm kidding. For me, it's, going back to the power sessions, we do at the end of the power sessions, we do these mantras that we kind of, go over. Josh will say, I prosper wherever I turn because I enjoy living an abundant lifestyle. And then we say it back to him. And we do these things over and over and over again to kind of remind ourselves, we say these things over and over and over. And it just kind of gets you this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm doing. It gets you pumped. And so surround yourself with stuff like that. Like she was saying in that video, after her workout, she likes to read, something spiritual or something inspirational, or listen. You could do audiobooks for that matter. You can use YouTube. You could look at, inspirational YouTube, TED Talks, whatever you want. I think those are great to really get you to be motivated. And definitely implement that into your time blocking. So maintain energy and focus. Implement the, I need to move my little screen. Implement the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Energy Plan. I like that. Block time before 11 a.m. each day to pull in energy from the following 5 key areas. This creates momentum that will carry you through the entire day. Spiritual. Meditate and pray every single day. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not very religious, but, for example, I'm very ADHD. I'm always squirrel. So I think for me, I can't sit down and meditate, per se, but whenever I go hiking, it's that, one foot after the other kind of thing. You're going up a very steep hill. All you can really do is focus on, one foot after the other. When you get really tired and really stressed, your heart's pumping, you can feel your veins popping in your ear and all that fun stuff. That's my meditation time. That's where everything's cleared out of my mind. I'm just focusing on the task at hand. And it's just, I'm in a Zen state when I'm doing that. So that for me, hiking is my meditation or spiritual, whatchamacallit. Physical, exercise and eat right. Well, there you go. Hiking, that's what I do. So I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. Emotional, hug, kiss, laugh. We want to surround ourselves with our family members, people that matter to us. The great thing about this business is there's people in your lives that you haven't reached out to in a long time. Great. Now's a good time to go ahead and do that. You can pick up the phone, somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, and reach out to them. The great thing about real estate is one, we could get paid by reaching out to these people. And 2, it just makes you feel good when you reach out to a friend you haven't talked to in a while and just let them know that you were thinking about them and wondering how they were doing. You find out, interesting facts about their lives. Maybe they just had a kid, maybe they just got engaged, whatever it is. It just builds you with, it's filling yourself from within. Mental, plan and calendar. I've been harping on this already a lot in this class. We, try to time block. It really will improve your mental well-being. It keeps you in it gives you purpose every single day when you wake up, especially during this pandemic. Business, lead generate. So these 5 things are basically the 5 things that we should be focusing on every single day to be able to ensure that we're being our most productive as possible. And frankly, I'm going to be honest, the spiritual, physical, and emotional part, that could feel like a job in its own. So, I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simplified by just focusing on these 5 things. So good stuff. Okay. So accountability. In the 6 personal perspectives, we learned accountability is a tool for continually changing and changing the results in your life in those areas that matter the most. Your 20%. Goal achievement is a direct result of accountability. To support your goal setting, we recommend that you use the 411 productivity tool in addition to my tracker. Well, in addition to my command. So my tracker, E-Edge and all that, just in your mind, change that to command. This was written a little while ago. What is the 411? 411 stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. At Keller Williams, we use a 411 as a productivity tool to reflect top priorities, the big rocks. The 411 tool allows you to define your weekly, monthly, and annual goals. Because your daily activities manifest into your overall results, the goals you set are an effective and crucial accountability function of your business. So has anybody ever done a 411 out of curiosity?
No.
All right, so let's talk about it. We'll get into it right now. So this is what we're gonna do for our 411, your annual goals. You should set aside 1 to 3 days each year to think about and crystallize these 1-year goals. Get clear on your big rocks, those 5 to 7 key goals that you must achieve in order to feel that you have had a successful year. Annual goals should reflect each of your key life areas. They can be many categories, but we have found the following 4 areas are the most useful. Job, what will you do? Business, what will your business or team do? Personal, what do you desire to have happen personally? Health, family, spiritual, educational, etc. Personal, financial, what improvements do you desire in your net worth? Reduced liabilities, increased investments, increased assets, etc., etc. So for example, job, what will you do? My job is to create, as many leads as possible so I can close. Business, what will your business or team do? I want to close X amount of transactions this coming up year. Personal, what do you desire to have happen personally? I want to get in better shape. This pandemic, I gained close to 17 pounds for just being lazy and, sitting on the sofa and just munching on chips and ice cream and other crap and pizza. Oh, I love pizza. Oh my gosh, I love pizza. I've had more pizza this pandemic that I care to think. Anyway, personal and financial. What improvements do you desire in your net worth? Reduce liabilities, increase investments, blah, 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 blah. I personally want to be able to afford an assistant. I want to get a full-time admin assistant so I can, if I have a lease or something that I need them to fill out or something, I can just kick it over to them so I can focus on, my escrows. I do leases, frankly, because those leases can turn into transactions down the line. I want to, what else? I want to be able to buy a couple rental properties. I want to buy some cheaper condos in the Valley. I want to get like 1 to 2 bedroom condos, something like that. So I know I can rent them out fairly easily and frankly, buy them in the best area for the least amount of money. So for example, I'd like to go into Tarzana. Why do I want to go into Tarzana? Well, frankly, because there's a couple schools in the Valley that are in that area. So I know that there's a steady amount of rental demand in that location. It is close to Whole Foods, Gelson's, and all that kind of stuff. So there's clearly a lot of, reasons for people to live in those locations. And plus, there's a lot of apartments that I could buy, under $450,000. So even more important. So that's why I want to go, buy properties over there. And plus, whatever my mortgage might be, I could likely find a rental for that property for more than I'm paying right off the bat per month if I were to buy properties in those locations. I know that there's condos that I could buy for $350,000 right in Tarzana. And
in Tarzana right now?
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Look near like Reseda Boulevard.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. It may have gone up to like 400,000, but not over that. I can tell you that much. A lot of stuff that are hugging along the freeways, you could look at those areas. Amazing, investment opportunities there. You just got to make sure you're not in a rent control area because there are a few of those.
Okay. I was just surprised because Tarzana is very expensive, or can be very expensive.
It can be. Once you go south of the 101, gets very expensive. But if you're
Okay.
looking on the other side of the 101,
yeah,
you got some good pockets in there. So, yeah, I was renting a place for like $1,300 a month. It was awesome. 2 bedrooms. It was awesome. The beginning of my career. Monthly goals. you should set aside 1 to 3 hours each month. So that was our yearly goals. So that's what we want to focus on for our annual goals. Now, for our monthly goals, this goes into our 411 again. So our monthly goals, you should set aside 1 to 3 hours each month to rethink and further refine your monthly goals. Focus on your methods of achievement. How will you position yourself in pursuit of your annual goals? Begin by breaking down your annual goals down into their monthly increments. In addition, write down the key activity goals that will lead to those monthly results. When deciding your monthly goals, remember to put first things first. Any goals that other goals hinge on would have higher priority. You should have no more than 5 to 7 monthly goals. Do not plan any more than that, more than 1 month ahead. This is important. So why do we want to reassess, each month what our monthly goals are? Because they change. Sometimes they change, frankly. If you're doing something that's not working, you need to reflect on that. Okay, I've been doing this for about a month now. Is this working? Do I need to give it more time? Or have I already been doing this for a few months now? And it's just, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at cold calling, but I'm so good at it, like, social media posts. Every time I make a social media post, I'm getting 3 or 4 people, hitting me up about real estate. Maybe I might need to pivot, each month to make a goal of making X amount of social media posts. Whatever it might be different. It's going to be different for everybody, but that's kind of what they're talking about for those monthly goals. Now, your weekly goals. You should set aside a half to 1 hour each week to form goals for the coming week. Weekly goals are levers, actions, or activities. Levers are those goals that are the mechanisms or how-tos to achievement. For example, I will contact 10 people each day. That's like our baseline goal that we want to hit for the Ignite classes. I will contact 10 people each day. These weekly goals are steps that you will take towards your monthly and annual goals. Levers are the means to an end. Again, your weekly goals are not a to-do list, but rather a have-to-do list. Keep that in mind. We have to do this. We have to reach out to 10 people. Decide what you need to do that week to achieve your monthly goals. Again, remembering to put first things first. Limit your numbers of weekly goals to 6 to 8 key measurable activities. Excuse me. All righty. Locate the 411 on mykw.kw.com. So, and it's under the resources. I will go ahead and put that in the chat box for everybody. And I highly recommend doing that. If we were in class face-to-face in the Market Center, I would pause and have everybody do that right now. So if you really want to be ahead of the curve, pretend we're in class, go ahead and look this up, print it out, and fill it out. Highly recommended. I just put it in the chat box. Okay. Where was I? I just lost the page now. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, now I really lost the page. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Again, your turn, 411. Now you see the benefits of the 411 for accountability. It's time to create your own 411 action goal worksheet. So we're not going to do that for the sake of time, but I highly recommend once we're done with class that you go ahead and do this. Go up onto mykw.kw connect, whatever I just put in the chat box, print it out and fill it out. I can't tell you how much I recommend doing that. So this is a preview of what it's going to look like when you go onto the website, 411 Action Goal Worksheet. Annual goals, enter your annual goals. Example, add 2,400 contacts into my database. Have 25 closings this year. These are amazing, amazing examples of what we can be doing on this 411 worksheet. Now, 2,400 contracts might be different for you. It might be 100 contacts. I would hope it's more than that. It could be 24,000 contacts. You might have another business that you're in that you have a huge database that you used to manage. Well, you're already ahead of the game. You can now use that database to, solicit them or to talk with them about real estate. Excuse me. Sorry. Monthly goals, enter monthly goals. Example, add 200 contacts into my database. So as you notice, these things kind of depend on each other. The 2,400 contracts, how am I going to get there? I'm going to add 200 contacts per day, or per week, excuse me. Go on 16 listing appointments. Damn, if you can go on 16 listing appointments in Los Angeles, wow, you are going to make a lot of money. Let's see, weekly goals. Enter your weekly goals, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Preview 10 properties, add 50 contacts to your database, write 50 notes, call 10 Mets, go on 4 listing appointments, go on 4 buyer appointments. So we should be filling these out to the best of our ability. And yeah, all righty. Let's see if I could get, hey, Tanya. How are you? Think you're on mute. Here, let me just go quickly give you credit.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, good. Let me give you credit for today's class before we get too far.
Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, listen, we all have lives. I totally get it. My feelings aren't hurt. We're all good. All righty. Leverage the MREA models. To be highly successful in your real estate sales career, it is important that you understand that you need to not only think like a business person, you need to become one as well. The fundamental models from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent represent the 4 areas of action you must tackle on your way to high real estate sales achievement. A formula that shows, let me move this down a little bit. A formula that shows you how to plug in specific numbers you'll have to achieve in specific areas to receive a specific net income. You will need to know what numbers you must hit, focus on appointments, focus on conversations. That's the economic model. Lead generation model. The specific approach that you must take to systematically generate a specific number of leads, you will need to prospect the market, set up a database, and systematically market to it. Focus on seller listings taken. So as you see, all of these models are going to fall into each other. It's just a revolving kind of circle. So once we know the numbers that we need to hit, I want to close 30 $1 million transactions a year, minimum of $1 million. I want to close 30 of them. Why? Because then I'll make $1 million. That's why I want to. That's what I want to focus on. So I know what numbers I need to hit. I know I need to hit 30 transactions. Focus on the appointments. How many times do I have to meet with people until I get a listing? For me, I believe it's 1 in 5 appointments I get, I'll get a listing. So I know I need to meet at least with 5 people per month. Focus on conversations. How many conversations do I have to get those 5 appointments? This is all kind of going into each other. And then you go into the lead generation model. What are the specific approach you must take systematically to generate the number of leads? How many leads do I have to get to actually have all these, to be able to get into that? So everything kind of falls into each other. The budget model, an outline of a specific budget categories you should track, and the percentage of your gross revenue you should spend on each of them. You will need to lead with revenue, play red light, green light, stick to the budget. So first of all, we need to make a budget. What's our budget? Per sale, what percentage am I going to put aside for my marketing? What am I going to use to, lead with revenue? How am I going to, ascertain, all these leads that I'm trying to get? And frankly, the way I look at that kind of stuff, I use social media as a way to get more leads because, for example, if I have a listing in Santa Clarita, I'm going to go ahead and post this big post on social media. Just went in an escrow or just sold. I might not post about the escrow, but I might post just sold once I close escrow on a property. And I'm going to bust that out to the entire world. I'm going to say just sold in under X amount of days. I'm going to brag about how amazing of an agent I am. Then I'm also going to follow up with cold calling that neighborhood. So all these people who are central to, I'm getting a call from the office, which is kind of interesting. I forgot where I was.
Oh, calling the neighborhood.
Thank you. So if I'm, for example, prospecting that neighborhood, it could be mailers, it could be social media, it could be email blasts, it could be door knocking when it's not the pandemic. I'm going to go ahead and, circle prospect that area. I'm going to know how much money I need to do. And I'm also going to play red light, green light. What's working, what's not working? When do I need to, put in more? When do I need to put in less? Organization model, the specific staff positions you will need to fill and the job responsibilities that they will be given as your business grows. You will need to, when doing all that you can, hire administrative help, hire talent, train, and consult. So I'm at training and consulting. I like training people. I like consulting with other agents. I like helping out in that regard. Now, that's not exactly what it means necessarily. But for this instance, you need to train new hires. You need to train new admin that you're taking on. My goal is to get an admin assistant by next year, full-time preferably. So for example, when I'm taking a bunch of leases, I know that leases take a lot more paperwork that I would usually have to do for a sale. It's not a lot more, but I can use a transaction coordinator for my sales. We don't have a transaction coordinator for leases. So for the leases, I have to input that into the green sheets. I have to upload it into Command. I got to fill out my own listing agreements. One lease that's going to net me maybe $2,500 in commissions might take me 3 or 4 days of, a couple hours each day of working on it. Meanwhile, I could be in 4 escrows concurrently and only have to take an hour out of each day checking in on those escrows to see where we're going, especially if I'm on the listing side. Buyers take a little more hands-on approach, but that's another discussion. So all of these models just kind of flow and fall into each other. So I highly recommend, if you have a chance, to maybe print this page out and study this, because it's very, very important. Okay. Let's see. So this is a great one for us to kind of look at. Revisiting your goals. We should be writing this down. I'm leaving it up to the class to do that because, we're not in class together. If we were in class, I would actually stop everybody what they're doing, bring out some paperwork and actually go to town on this. But in Power Session 1, Ignite Your Business, you set a goal for your annual number of closed contracts based on the annual income you desire. Annual goals can be broken down to monthly, weekly, and even daily goals to keep you on track. You'll even be able to measure your progress towards them. At this time, you may be ready to increase your goal. You can enter your additional or change goals in your GCI calculator. Enter values for A and B and calculate all the rest of the numbers following the formulas provided. Then evaluate your wins and opportunities. Now, the great thing about Command, it does this for us. We just put in new opportunities and it calculates the potential income revenue that we're going to get. And it also calculates the probability of how many of those we're going to close based on your own production and based on the average production if you don't really have that much production going on. So let's take a look at that. A, GCI, gross commission income. By this date, 1 year from now, how much GCI do you want to earn? You'd put that number right over here. I want to make $1 million. Great. B, average sales price. What is the average sales price in your area? $1 million. Great. Average commission. Based on the average sales price, what is the average commission you expect to receive for each sale? Average commission percentage times B. What was B? Average sales price in your area. Okay. So if I take my trusty little calculator out, $1 million. I do it differently. I subtract minus 2.5% equals $25,000. Boom. I'm gonna put 25 grand right over here. Close contracts. Divide your gross commission income, GCI goal, by the average commission to determine the number of closed contracts you need to reach your goal. So if I want $1 million a year, oopsies, $1 million a year divided by 25,000 equals, oh, I need 40 transactions closed. So I need it. So I said 30. I think it's 1.5 million actually is the average, but I'm just using easy math. So I want to close 40 transactions a year. It might be 1.5 million is closer to the average, but that I think that would come out to 30. Let me just see if that's right. Let's see. 1,500,000 minus 2.5%. Yeah, 37,500. 1 million divided by 37,500. Yeah, it's about 26. So 26, so I kind of rounded it up to about 30 transactions that I would probably need to close. Let's say it's not 1.5, it might be 1.25 million, something like that. So where am I? E, contracts pending. Assuming that half of your contracts will close, you'll need twice as many contracts pending. Interestingly enough, I have yet to have a listing that hasn't closed, which is great. I'm sure I'm going to have something that doesn't work out, you know, in the future, but I am lucky or I'm damn good. I don't know, but I like to think I'm damn good. Anyway,
You're damn good.
thank you, dear. Okay, F, sign agreements. Assuming that half of your agreements lead to contracts, you'll need twice as many agreements. G, appointments. And this is a good, you know, assumption by what they're writing in there, because you can't count on, you know, eggs that haven't hatched. You know, you can't count your chickens before they've hatched, you know. So that's why they're using these numbers, I believe. So just so you know. G, appointments. Assuming that half of your appointments lead to agreements, you'll need twice as many appointments. H, appointments each week. Assuming you work 48 hours out of the 48 weeks out of the year, divide the total number of appointments by 48. And doing all of this will show you exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals. This one little page right here will be your guidebook for you know, your future in real estate. So if you have an opportunity, screenshot it, take a picture, do something, but make sure you do this math and write it out, because it is going to help you considerably. In fact, I think I'm going to print this right now. And I'm going to do it later after the class. Page 20. My printer on. Let's see. Page 20. No, custom. I want 15 through 20 because there's a couple other good pages that I saw there too. Okay. Yep. 15, accountability. Boom. Print that mug. Let's do it. Awesome. So listen, I'm not just preaching, I'm also practicing. So I highly recommend everybody does this, because I'm going to do it too. One thing that I realized that I need to do this year is, now that I have these 4 escrows that have all closed except for one, I just took another lease listing currently. Now I also think I'm going to be taking an additional listing off of this, you know, divorce sale that I just completed. So after that, I'm going to do something that sounds crazy. I'm going to slow down on my lead generation for just a moment. For about 2 weeks, I'm going to reassess everything that I need to do for the upcoming months. So I know the numbers that I need to hit every single day. And I'm also going to take time to go into my CRM, clean it all up, add specific tags, make sure my email system is working properly, make sure the drip systems are working properly, and just go to town on it, you know, starting fresh, you know, after the first of the year. So I highly recommend everybody does it. This is a perfect time to do it. I can't stress it enough. All righty. So page 21, evaluate wins, opportunities, and self-reflect on your actions. Okay, write your answers for the following questions and share them with the class. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down the list. I'm going to call on everybody in the class. So by the by, if you are walking around your kitchen getting coffee and not really listening, I would check in right about now, because I'm going to call on you in a little bit. So write your answers to the following questions and then share it with your class. What wins have you experienced in the last 4 weeks? Let's see, Tanya, what are some of the wins that you've experienced in the last 4 weeks?
I don't know if it's wins, but I've got like 4 people I'm working with. So it's a champagne problem, but you know,
Atta girl.
kind of hard, but yeah.
You know, it is hard. And are they all buyers or some of them sellers?
I have 3 buyers and 1 looking for a lease.
Nice. Those are hard.
Yeah,
Buyers take a lot of time investment.
yeah.
So 100%, but I think you got it.
Thank you.
I think you absolutely do. Excuse me for yawning. What opportunities for improvement have you encountered? Let's see. Cindy, what opportunities for improvement have you encountered? I know you might be driving. All righty. So I think she's driving right now. She did mention that she was going to be doing some stuff. So that's okay. What was that I just, did I pick up the wrong page? I did. Okay, Derek, how about you? What opportunities for improvement have you seen for yourself?
In the last 4 weeks.
It could be 4 weeks, past year, during the pandemic, whatever it is. And it could be real estate related. It could be, just business in general related.
Oh yeah, well, I would say definitely amount of focus and really goal setting and things like that. Also kind of, focusing on not only what I'm doing today and make sure that I'm being effective as much as possible, but also for the future, 2021, if you will, and what I need to do to be successful in that year. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Hello, this is Jared.
Hi, good afternoon, Jared. This is Henry Diaz with Remax One in San Fernando. How are you?
Hey, bud, really good. I'm in the middle of a meeting right now, a class that I'm actually teaching for new agents in our office. Is this about Santa Clarita Road?
It is.
We just went into escrow. I need to change it on the MLS. I've been lazy. Sorry about that, bud. All righty, man. Take care. Cheers. Bye. All righty. So awesome, Derek. I love that. That's dope. Okay, what kind of leads are you getting? Seller, buyer? What about the quality of leads are you getting? How quickly are you able to convert them into an appointment? Let's see. Everybody is fairly new except for Tanya, but I already asked her. Okay, for me, I'm realizing that the majority of the leads that I'm getting are from my sphere of influence, my friends, family, stuff like that, and past clients. So and how quickly am I able to convert them? About 6 months it takes, from initial contact to, actually in contract or writing offers on properties, whether if it's with buyers or what have you. So that's typically what it takes. What do I need to do to improve it? Stuff like that. That's something that I need to figure out. As CEO of You, rate your performance using a scale of 1 to 5. 1 equals improvement. 5 equals excellent. No improvement needed. What do you rate yourself and why? Just so you know, none of us should be giving ourselves 5s. We are never perfect. We always can do something a little bit better. Even if it's 1%, 1% compounded over time equals 100% improvement. So, let's always.
I'm about a 3 because
nice.
I'm so focused on the people I already have. I really haven't been like lead generating for new people. So I'm about a 3.
So that's something you could implement. Sorry, let me just take this really quickly. I apologize. Hello, this is Jared. Unfortunately, we just went in escrow. I'm about to change that on the MLS as we speak. Thank you, bud. Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the call.
I have to take a call.
Everyone, bye. Okay. So I am going to turn off my phone because I have a feeling they're going to all be for the Santa Clarita property, and I don't need to get into that. Okay, what will you do differently moving forward? you know, me, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be doing my monthly goals, and I'm going to work on that and figure that out for myself. How am I going to do it? I'm going to implement, you know, a lot more, you know, automated drip campaigns, you know, our daily touches. You know, we have this great thing in Command where we can set up these automated email campaigns where they're just drips, you know, and they're not just useless information. Hopefully it should be something that's fun and exciting. Like, you know, for every single holiday coming up, I should have an email sent out, you know, talking about fun activities that you can do that are pandemic safe, maybe. I can send out, you know, neighborhood newsletters about certain locations in Bel Air. I can send out, you know, whatever, yoga tips, workout tips, at home workout stuff. It could be something completely unrelated to real estate, but just so I can get my real estate logo in the email and send it out. All good stuff. Share and celebrate success. Share with the class what how you've been rewarding yourself for the past several weeks while succeeding at Ignite. I'm closing deals. That's what I'm doing. Know your numbers. With a cumulative, oh my God, I can't speak. 4 weeks of tracking your activity and results, you have an accurate trail of your critical business numbers and can calculate important conversation rates. In this session, you'll learn the value of paying attention to your numbers. Again, I've been harping on our numbers a lot in this class already. As you can see, it is a theme, very common theme. Calculate your conversion rates. By now you understand that leads to closing process is moving leads to appointments, then agreements, then contracts, then closing, which yields commissions. And the focus on leads is becoming more and more of a habit because of your daily 10-4 activities. Again, every single class, before we end, before we begin, in the middle, I talk about our daily 10-4 and how important it is. And I don't know, Derek, can you help me? What's our daily 10-4?
Sorry, Jared. I was just hanging up on another phone call. What was the question again?
What is our daily 10-4? Can you remind me?
Oh, as far as in regards to the log and calls and contacts,
Yep.
things like that.
Yep.
Calls and 10 properties. And remind me to refresh the rest.
So we're going to make 10 contacts per day. 10 notes we're going to write to the previous contacts that we reached out to the other day. We're going to add 10 new contacts into our database daily. We're going to at least aim for that. And then we're going to preview 10 properties in our area of expertise. So we want to do our daily 10-4 as much as possible. This is the foundation of our business. It is, without a good foundation, you're not going to go very high. It is so important that we implement that. We want to be mechanical, excuse me, when it comes to doing our daily 10-4. If we don't do anything the entire day, at least we did our daily 10-4. So, and honestly, it only takes an hour or two. I promise you, if you just did your daily 10-4 and didn't do anything else that we're talking about in this class, just make 10 contacts a day and talk about real estate. Send out 10 notes to people that you previously talked to and put them in a CRM so you can follow up with them the next week, and then preview 10 properties. You will make more money than whatever job you were doing before. I promise you. I promise you. It's I know that it's nerve-wracking to call strangers. I know it's nerve-wracking to solicit your friends and family. I know that we're all scared of rejection in some term or another, but the more you do something, the more you get used to it, the less scary it seems. One of the previous classes that we had, I showed a video of Chris Hadfield, who's the commander of the Canadian Space Agency, and how he talked about risk versus fear. And what your actual risk of something is versus the fear that overwhelming you prevents you from doing it. And he talked about when he went to the International Space Station, he was doing a spacewalk and something got in his eye and he couldn't see, and then tears started to build up, And because of the tension, the surface tension over the bridge of his nose, it went into his other eye. And all of a sudden, he's outside the International Space Station and he's blind. And normally people would freak the F out. This is scary. This has never happened to me before. I don't know what to do. But they practiced and practiced and practiced for any given event before he even got up to the space station. They have virtual reality simulators. They have stuff in pools where they go into like these dive, tanks, and they're going around and doing all these cool tasks. They practice for what if somebody becomes incapacitated, where they pass out or something. Well, he knew that he's already practiced what he was going to do. So he was able to kind of, if he needed to, guide himself blind back to the hatch. His partner could lift him up and put him back into the space station himself. So he wasn't really that scared. So pick up the phone, practice your scripts, practice your dialogues, practice your conversations with a partner, maybe another real estate agent. And then when you feel comfortable, get on that phone and start making some calls. Friends, family, strangers, doctors, people you do business with. Definitely good stuff. So anyway, let's see. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. What did you discover? Okay, let's see. Awesome, we're pretty much done. So before we break, this is the last class for a lot of the people who are on this call. This is the first class for a few. Hopefully we see you back and you decide to get into real estate. Diana, by the by, this might be a little overwhelming right now because you're coming in on the very last class. But if you do decide to end up getting into real estate and joining our brokerage, you'd start at class 1, January 4th. So it'd be a little bit less daunting, I assure you.
Okay.
And eventually you'd work your way up to this last final class, but you'll already be ahead of the curve. So a lot of this is probably like, what in the F is he talking about? This is all craziness, but it'll make a lot more sense if you started in class 1. But for everybody else, what are some ahas that you've learned from doing these Ignite classes? What are some things that you've realized you need to now implement in your real estate career? There's no wrong answers. Don't be bashful. Feel free to speak freely. Oh, come on, y'all. Cindy, how about you? What are some stuff that you've been able to implement or realize, after doing a few of these night classes? I think Cindy might be a little bit unavailable.
Sorry, I didn't know how to put it. I was trying not to. There's a cop behind me and I was trying to be discreet when I put it on mute. Just to get into that lead generation. Like right now, I'm trying to figure out where I want to farm. Would it be great to start farming somewhere like Malibu, for example? Because now I could do the virtual tours, which would be great. For that way, I won't be commuting. Just stuff like that. Just farming, and I also am looking in for lead generation, like you said, like the Mojo caller and stuff.
Nice. Absolutely, good stuff. Derek, how about you? Are there any things that you've learned from these classes that you'd be like, oh, dude, I realized this about real estate, or I don't know, or maybe for your own personal business?
There's been a lot of good aha things and things that I've come across, especially in the, in presenting, whether it be listing presentations or things like that, or things that maybe I wouldn't have normally thought about, that were, things that were like, oh yeah, So,
nice.
Yeah, none of which are coming to mind, of course, but
all good. Put you on the spot.
yeah, but it's actually I think this is kind of my almost second time through, so we're picking up a little bit more each time.
Attaboy.
Thanks, man.
Very cool. All righty. Well, Tanya, I know you're busy. Diana, I know you're new. So thank you all for joining this class. I hope it was helpful. Again, I highly recommend, last thing you do is get into page 16 through 20 of this lesson I put it into the chat box. So if you want to take a moment, go ahead, click on that link so you can get in there. Page 16 to 20 of today's class. That's my little bit of homework for you. Go ahead, fill out all the different steps, figure out your monthly, weekly, and daily goals, put it into a 411 action worksheet, review what was it? Review the leveraging the MREA models, making sure that you're keeping that in mind with everything that you're doing. And I promise you, you will be kicking butt and taking names. So that's the end of this class. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I will see some of you on January 4th. Have a great and amazing holidays and Happy New Year in advance. So cheers, y'all. Have a great one.
Thanks, Jared, for doing this.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Cheers, y'all. Have a great one. Bye.